ní dépò gíga, ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ dákun ẹ̀yin òbí wa, ẹ tiraka kẹjọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa. Ẹni tí ó kàwé, ẹrú ẹgbẹ́ ni ó máa ṣe. Ẹni tí ó kàwé, ẹrú ẹgbẹ́ ni ó máa ṣe. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n máa ṣe, tọ́ bá jalè wọ́n tún lọ fọ́lé. Ẹ dákun ẹ̀yin òbí wa, ẹ tiraka kẹjọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n máa ṣe, tọ́ bá jalè wọ́n tún lọ fọ́lé. Ẹ dákun ẹ̀yin òbí wa, ẹ tiraka kẹjọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa.
Good afternoon, viewers and listeners at home. You are welcome to this special educational program from the stables of Uniq FM and Freedom TV. This program is meant to help our students back at home, especially SSC students that are preparing for WAEC and the NECO examination, so that you can get prepared, have enough time to revise. Now we are imploring you to stay tuned every weekday, Monday to Friday, for each subject that shall be presented to you. Every Tuesday, you meet me for literature in English, 1 to 2 p.m. My name is Adejumo Okweyemi. I use this medium to implore the parents and guardians to inform their wards. Let them stay close to their TV sets and radio sets so that they can learn one or two things that will buttress and improve their knowledge as regards literature in English. After this short break, we are going to start the class. But before then, go and get your writing material closer to you, sit down, feel relaxed, and stay tuned.
Ṣóyínká mà kàwé, ló ṣe di ẹni gíga láyé. Fáṣọlá náà kàwé, ló ṣe di gọ́fúnà wa. Ìwé ló gbé ní dépò gíga, ẹ̀kọ́ ló gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ̀sùn tó ṣe yí ẹ̀yin òbí wa, ẹ tiraka kẹjọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa.
Welcome back. Literature in English is the subject we are going to treat today. And when you're talking about literature in English, you all know that it has sections. In fact, it is divided into papers. You have paper 2, or let me say you have paper 1, you have paper 2, and you have paper 3. Especially for WAEC. NECO has a way of dividing or numbering theirs. In NECO, you have paper 2, you have paper 3, and you have paper 4. When you're talking about paper 1 in literature in English, that is the multiple choice question. That is, under this, you'll be given some questions based on literary devices that will be from numbers 1 to 20. With this, in this number 1 to 20, you'll be asked questions based on your knowledge as regards literary devices, the figures of speech, your simile, your metaphor, your hyperbole, your euphemism, your innuendo, your litotes, and so on and so forth. And from questions 21 to 30, don't forget, in your question 1 to 20, you'll be given short poems, just 3-line poems or 2-line play, and they will ask you some questions on them. It happens at times. But questions 1 to 30 basically is meant for unseen prose and poetry. What do I say? I mean unseen prose and poetry. That is, you'll be given a prose work that you've never seen before. The one that is not in your syllabus. That is not in your syllabus for literature. It's not among the 12 poems you are going to read. And it's not among the 4 novels and 4 dramas and the Othello that you are going to read. It's going to be a new thing entirely, and you will be asked 5 questions on each, the prose and the poetry. Then from question 31 to 50, you know that you will be asked questions on Othello. Your Othello, your Shakespearean work. And the Shakespearean work that we are talking about, you will not be asked to what is this, what is that, what is simile, not in all cases. They will quote any excerpt from Othello, any excerpt, any extract of their choice from any of the scenes that you have read in the book, and they will ask you who is the speaker, who is the person addressing, and so on and so forth. And then it means they will ask you, they will bring out 4 extracts with 5 questions on each of them. And by the time you have 5 questions from 4 extracts, that will make 20 questions. That is how we arrive at our 31 to 50 questions. Then under your paper 2, you have your prose, question on prose, your question on lonely days, your question on faceless, your question on what is it called? Yaremi, okay, I mean faceless, I mean lonely days, and so on and so forth. That is on your paper 2. Paper 3 now, it has to do with drama and poetry. Drama, the questions on and you know all these ones are theory. You'll be given 2 questions on prose, you pick one. 2 questions on non-African prose, 2 questions on African prose, you pick one out of the 4. Then your drama, you'll be given 2 questions on African drama, non-African drama, 2 questions on African prose, African poetry, and non-African poetry. You know your drama now, your harvest of corruption. And don't forget your erasing of the sun. She stoops to conquer, and so on and so forth. So those are the ways the SSCE asks questions. And before we move further, I want us to start from the known to the unknown. Let us start from the simple to the complex. You may be thinking that is this necessary that we treat figures of speech again? It is highly essential, because there are some things you might think you have even known that you still learn more today. And even there are some things that you have known are forgotten, because most topics on figures of speech are taught in SS1. And most of these things you might have forgotten them. But by the time you start from the simple today, you get reminded, then you will go along with those other texts that you are so much in a haste that you want us to touch as soon as possible. Now, I want us to go to literature itself. When you're talking about literature, what does literature means? There are a lot of definitions for literature, but I'll just mention 2 of them. Literature is a reflection or refraction of life. I mean, literature is a reflection or refraction of life. It reflects life. Even most authors defines it as a mirror of life. Many things that happen in life will be reflected through literary works. That is why you see some poetry that will be based on what is happening in our country. You see some drama text that will be based on what is happening in our society. So that is literature for you. And this literature can be in a oral form or written form. But we are not going to such today. I want us to go to functions of literature. I will give you short tips for you to know what are the importance of literature. How important is literature? Because they may ask you, literature does dash. Literature educates how, and all those things you get them into your revision. Now we are talking about literature, or let me say functions of what? Functions of literature. One, you have education. It educates. 2, you have information. 3, it entertains. 4, it is meant for the preservation and promotion of cultures, the norms, the traditions of people in the society. You also have propagandism. This is mostly used by politicians. They use literature as a means of propaganda, to present their intention for their manifestos. Then you have psychotherapy. What do I say? I said psychotherapy. Literature is psychotherapeutic in nature, in the sense that from the word therapy means healing. The word psycho is coined from the word psychology. So the healing of the mind means psychotherapy. That means literature helps in healing the what? In healing the mind. It helps in taking the mind from a particular state to another state, especially the state of sorrows, the state of sadness, the state of grief. You feel relieved by the time you read any literary work. By the time you watch some educational movies, you feel relieved. You get your enjoyment. You get joyous. Are we together? Then you have exposition. It exposes life. You have your exposition. The psychotherapy that I mentioned the other time, you have your psychotherapy. Don't misinterpret it and don't misquote it. Then you have the exposition. You have exposition. It exposes people to life. You get exposed by the time you read literary work. By the time you're talking about literature, it's not only the literary text that you read. The dailies, the newspapers, all of them, they are works of literature that informs you concerning a particular topic or the other. Especially this period of pandemic now. You get informed through the newspaper, through your internet, the posts that people send. You get what? You get informed through them. And by so doing, you have one thing or the other that you learn from it. It educates you. In fact, you may not leave your living room, yet you learn so many things. Then you have the didacticism aspect of what? Of literature. DIDACTISM. That is, literature is didactic in nature. What I mean is, literature teaches moral lessons. You learn one or two lessons through literary works. The drama you read, the prose text you read, the poetry you read, you learn one or two lessons from them. So it is didactic in nature, and it helps you in building your vocabulary. Yes, it helps learners to build vocabularies. On this note, we are going to go for a short break, and after the break, we'll continue this lesson. And I want to remind you that literature is therapeutic in nature. It is didactic. It educates. It informs. It entertains. You have to get informed about all these functions or importance of literature. We'll get back to you soon.
Ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀, ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa iṣẹ́. Ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀, ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa iṣẹ́. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò gíga, ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa, ẹ tiraka kẹjọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò gíga, ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa, ẹ tiraka kẹjọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa.
Help Our Use the Truth to Know is a fragment from the second stanza of the Nigerian national anthem. It is a known fact that the average Nigerian youth lacks basic information about the contemporary issues of life. About 40% of the Nigerian youth are ignorant, while another 30% have been wrongly informed by wrong information. The right information can heal the soul. Indeed, the truth can bring freedom. The current rise in thuggery, cultism, drug abuse, and other social vices which poses a threat to this generation and puts the next generations at risk are actually responses from a confused soul. So come along, heal your soul. It is informative, it is reformative, and it is educative. This is the Youth Council, and I am your host, Daniel Ayotunde Omoniton. Call me the Jorati.
Start your day right in a matured way with an inspirational and motivational jump. Tune in to Uniq 103.1 FM, our station, at 5:55 a.m. on Mondays and Fridays, or listen from any part of the world online via www.uniqfmrstation.net. To join Dikpo Oguntoyinbo for mature talk with Dikpo. No situation is hopeless unless God is ruled out. Act on it.
Welcome back. Now I want us to go into the 3 genres of literature. I mean the 3 divisions of literature. You have your drama, prose, poetry. Drama, prose, and poetry. When you're talking about drama, drama is an imitation of human action. You imitate what happens in the real life in drama. Most things that happen in those drama, or you read in drama text, are the real life, things that happen in reality. Fine. But there are some attributes that I want you to note in drama, or let me say in the definition of drama. There are 4 in number. 1. Action. A-C-T-I-O-N. Action. 2. Performance. P-E-R-F-O-M-A-N-C-E. 3. Stage, where you perform a particular drama or play. Then you have your audience. That means a drama is a series of action performed on the stage to a group of people known as audience. You can see that as another definition of drama. You perform series of actions, and from there, perform, you use this to form the word performance. Where do we perform it? Stage. For who? Audience. And because with that, I have mentioned the 4 out of the techniques of drama, and by so doing I have explained each of them. Action, you put something into place. Performance, where do you perform it? To whom do you perform them? Fine, that is drama. There are some important things that you need to note about drama. There are many. When you're talking about dramatic techniques, you have scene, a kind of subcomponent to act. Scene, S-C-E-N-E. You have your act, you have your act, you have your dramatic monologue, you have your soliloquy, you have your aside, you have your conflict, you have your cast, you have dramatis personnel, and so on and so forth. The dramatic techniques are so numerous that you can't mention them all. But for the sake of revision, scene, that is the smallest component, the smallest unit of drama. It has to do with 2 or more dialogues that you put together. And by the time you have more than one scene, that is when you have an act. In fact, one scene can be an act, but by the time it gets to 2 or more, you can have an act too. You have your dramatic monologue. That is a means of speaking to oneself. This one is mostly used in a one-man drama. When a drama is being acted by just one person, that is when you have dramatic monologue. But in the case of soliloquy, it's a means of, you call it thinking aloud, a means of speaking to oneself. Say something to yourself. That thing might be about you, most especially. But when you're talking about aside, it's a means of talking to oneself, just like the 2 above, but it's a gossip about other characters. If you remember your Othello, there are a lot of examples of aside there, whereby Iago is speaking about other characters, gossiping about Othello in some instance, gossiping about Cassio at some point, gossiping about Desdemona at some point. That's an aspect I even said his message should work on, and that is talking about his lies towards Desdemona, his lies towards Othello about Desdemona. So you can see that these 3, they are somehow similar, but there are slight changes. You have to note the changes today. The dramatic monologue, the 3 of them are talking to oneself, a means of talking to oneself, a means of speaking aloud or thinking aloud. But one thing about dramatic monologue is it is not a gossip. It is most especially used by a one-man drama, a drama that is acted by one person, that person will act as himself and still represent other characters. Then you have your soliloquy, that is thinking aloud. That person is this is mostly used in our dramas that we watch on TV, our movies, our films. You see the person thinking aloud, you hear the person's voice thinking within himself. Then you have your aside. Most especially is about other characters, telling the audience 1 or 2 things about other characters, to the extent that the other characters will not know what is being said, but the audience will understand quite well, and the audience will now follow suit. Are we together? Fine. You have your conflict. Conflict is a period of disagreement between 2 or more characters, most especially the major characters, between the protagonist and the antagonist. When you're talking about protagonist, that is the major character in a particular drama. Antagonist is a major character too, but is the one going against the interest of the protagonist. He is the one going against the interest of the other major character. In fact, most especially, it is the antagonist that creates conflicts. And in some text, when talking about the antagonist, antagonist, ATAGONIST, the antagonist can also be referred to as a villain, 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 and at times you can refer to them as foil, FOIL. All these names are still synonymous. They are similar. They are still telling us that that person is standing for someone that is going against the interest of other characters. Now, I want to continue here. Cast. When you're talking about cast is the list of characters that play one or more role in a particular drama. The list of all the characters with the roles they play. For example, you have one of our actor, Odunlade Adekola. Maybe Odunlade Adekola plays the king of that particular village. You now have it as Oba so. That is when you have cast. The name of the character and the role they play. But in the case of dramatis personnel, it's only the list of the characters alone, not including the roles they play. So you have to note that, and to note the difference between the two. Are we together? Fine. I want to mention another technique in drama, and that is what? Tragic flaw. TRAGICFLAW. This tragic flaw is a costly mistake being made by a particular character, most especially the hero, I mean the major character, and the mistake that now leads to the death or the downfall of that particular major character. Are we together? This tragic flaw, you can call it tragic mistakes. It is also called tragic weakness. It is also referred to as hubris. What do I say? Hubris. HUBRIS. Most authors also refer to it as hamartia. HARMATIA. So don't be confused by the time you see any of these names in your any of them in your option. That is, they now say, maybe the question reads, a tragic mistake that leads to the downfall of a hero is dash. You do not see tragic flaw that you are familiar with. You are unable to find tragic mistake that you are familiar with. They did not put tragic weakness there. They now put either hubris or hamartia. And you know that all other ones can never be. But these two ones, these two other ones, you don't know their meaning. You pick one of them. In fact, one of them is going to be there. The two of them cannot be there as the answer at the same time. You have to note that. You only use your bodily gestures. And you have your fable. Your allegory. Allegory, it's a drama that uses... Allegory is a drama that uses inanimate objects to present ideas. It uses ideas that are abstract to present its ideas. That is, in allegory, you do what? You use objects that does not have life. In the case of fable, it's a drama that makes use of animals mostly. If you remember your George Orwell Animal Farm, it's a typical example of what? Of fable. The other time I explained epic drama. It's always a very long drama. And don't forget the type of drama that he said will be satirical. It's a drama. For instance, your harvest of corruption. You can see that it is telling us the follies, the anomalies that are going on among the leaders in our society. So it's also a typical example of satirical drama. From the word satire. Satirical drama is a drama that is presented to ridicule some bad things, some misdemeanors, some anomalies, some bad conducts, misconduct and so on in the society with the purpose of correcting them. And like I told you, harvest of corruption is a typical example. Now, we move on to poetry. What do I say? I say we're going to move on to poetry. Poetry is a spontaneous overflow of emotional feelings. Poetry is a spontaneous overflow of emotional feelings. The feelings that you have, especially emotional feelings, that of love, that of hatred, that of sadness, that of sorrows, that of grief, and so on and so forth. Any feelings that you can talk about, it is always being expressed through poetry, especially in form of lines and stanzas. Am I communicating? I mean, especially in form of lines and stanzas. By the time you have such, that is a typical example of poetry. You remember those days now that you were being taught your kids' poems. This twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. All those ones, they are typical examples of what? Of poems. But this time around now, you now have it on a larger unit, on a larger note. It's going to be more than one stanza. It's going to be up to 2-3 stanzas. In fact, you remember your Proud King, the Proud King. It's well over 100 stanzas. It's among the poems that we are going to treat on this show. So you have to stay tuned. Like I said poetry is the spontaneous overflow of emotional feelings, of any feelings that you can just name. And you have some devices, or let me say techniques, that are peculiar to poetry. Those are the ones we are going to discuss. So you have your poetic devices. Just like act and scene are peculiar to drama, you also have line and stanza for poetry. Line is the smallest unit of poetry, true, and by the time you have 2 or more lines, you make up a stanza, and 2 or more stanzas make up the whole poem. So you have so many things that you can put into your line, you can put into your stanza. And you have your poet. Poet is the writer of a poem, just like playwright is the writer of a dramatist, or you call him or her a dramatist. And the spelling of the playwright is Playwright, not RITE. No, it is RIGHT, WRIGHT. That is the writer of a drama, or you call him or her a dramatist, just the way it is pronounced, dramatist. But in the case of poet, that is the person. In the case of poetry, the person that writes a poetry is a poet. But the person that the poet creates in a poem, you call him or her a poet personnel. Poet personnel. That is the implied author, the author that is being created in that particular poem. Because you know a poet now might write more than one poem, and each poetry will have a particular subject matter. Will have something the person is talking about. Will have somebody that the person is referring to. You remember your Schoolboy by William Blake. That means poet of William Blake, poet of the Schoolboy is William Blake. But the poet persona is that small boy, the schoolboy, the small lad. You understand? The schoolboy, the lad, that is the poet personnel. So poet personnel too is another device that you have to note under poetry. You have something that you call poetic license. License, poetic, then license, LICENCE. That is the freedom, the audacity, the boldness that a poet has to use words the way he or she wants. By the time the person wants to use words, and by the time you have the poetic license, you can disobey any grammatical rule, you can go against any structural rule, you can shorten word, you can remove any spelling, you can use apostrophe to represent a whole syllable. Am I communicating? Fine. That is poetic license. In fact, you also have diction as another poetic device, and that is the choice of words. The choice of words, the words that you have chosen to use to portray or to present your mind, to present your emotional feelings. And at this point time T, I want us to do what? To go on a commercial break, and by the time we get back, we'll know what to do.
Help Our Use the Truth to Know is a fragment from the second stanza of the Nigerian national anthem. It is a known fact that the average Nigerian youth lacks basic information about the contemporary issues of life. About 40% of the Nigerian youth are ignorant, while another 30% have been wrongly informed by wrong information. The right information can heal the soul. Indeed, the truth can bring freedom. The current rise in thuggery, cultism, drug abuse, and other social vices which poses a threat to this generation and puts the next generations at risk are actually responses from a confused soul. So come along, heal your soul. It is informative, it is reformative, and it is educative. This is the Youth Council, and I am your host, Daniel Ayotune Omoniton. Call me the Jorati.
Start your day right in a matured way with an inspirational and motivational jump. Tune in to Uniq 103.1 FM, our station, at 5:55 a.m. on Mondays and Fridays, or listen from any part of the world online via www.uniqfmrstation.net. To join Dikpo Oguntoyinbo for mature talk with Dikpo. No situation is hopeless unless God is ruled out. Act on it.
Welcome back. Next class, I mean next week Tuesday, you meet me here. We are going to discuss types of poetry. By the time you are talking about types of poetry, it has to do with two parts. Types of poetry according to number of lines. Then types of poetry according to content and style. That is where we are going to take off from next week. Remember, we have done what literature is. We are through with the genres of literature. We've first done the functions of literature. We are through with the genres of literature. We started picking them one after the other. You have your drama, what drama means, the dramatic techniques, the types of drama. We are under poetry. What is your knowledge about poetry? Then you have the poetic devices. Now next class, we'll move on to types of poetry. And next class, make sure you come with your Othello. Come with your Othello. We are going to treat Othello. I'll bring questions, contest questions that will start searching. We start picking from Othello that we will answer the questions together. At least that will really boost our revision and our foreknowledge. And don't forget, we're still going into those prose work, the dramas and the poetry that are in the syllabus. So, and next class, don't be late. 1 to 2 p.m. on Tuesday, and my name will remain Adejumo Opeyemi. You can always contact me on any of these numbers. If at all you have questions, you can always use WhatsApp message only, no phone call. 090 621 63502. I repeat, 090 621 63502. WhatsApp message only. May God bless you.
3, 2, 1, 0.